What's up, y'all? We back with another Marathon Monday, week 2. Trying to stay consistent as possible. Very excited to be doing this again. Want to keep going, want to keep improving, want to keep getting better. Definitely. Marathon Monday, episode 2, one frame at a time. One frame at a time. It's kind of like the tagline behind like Film the Marathon for sure. It's really crazy because I came up with it like designing a shirt one night, and I'm not really sure how I came up with it, but when I did came up with it, it just like stuck, and it felt like right, and it felt like something that I could always like lean back on and refer to. And I feel like it's similar to like those sayings you hear like you know, all the time, like one day at a time, or there's a saying 1-0, win the day, things along those lines. And for me, one frame at a time is just about being present in the moment and being as consistent as possible, just focusing on the present. I feel like a lot of times, like for me, I feel like where that inconsistency at times can come into part is because I'm looking at the future and where I want to be, and you can get discouraged, and in turns that kind of like leads to like a feeling of, well, dang, like, am I ever gonna get there? Like, or should I even do something today? Should I even like? I'm not gonna do much today. Should I just put in this little amount of work to like? I mean, it's not gonna make a difference, and that's the kind of the feeling you get when you're looking so far ahead. But one frame at a time, always like something I say to myself, it just allows me to refocus to like, like get my bearings straight again, and just know like, okay, let me just lock in. Like, let's do what we can do today. Let's get better. Let's try to make some progress. And I feel like that's so important. And then it kind of just goes back to like Film the Marathon, like especially with the film aspect. Like for those people who like may not be like familiar with like cameras and things like that, like there's this term like FPS, frames per second, right? You can have these 60 frames per second, or like 120 frames per second, all these different things. And like the more frames per second, like the more like clear like that picture is gonna like look in essence. So for me, one frame at a time is just about being consistent. Like I said, like I keep going back to that, but that's really what it's about for me, like being consistent, taking it one day at a time, and just trying to do the things that I know are necessary, even when I may not feel like it, even when I feel like I'm not where I want to be. Just continuing to do those things and knowing that it's going to add up. Like, I'm going to get to where I want to be eventually. And it's really crazy because I had therapy earlier this morning, and I can walk. I have to use crutches still, but I can walk better. I can walk on the crutches. I had been just like hopping around on one leg, but it's really crazy because I remember at the beginning of my therapy, like it was so hard to do like certain things, and they're having to put in like an electrical stem, basically like an electrical current on my my quad, my thigh muscle, just to like activate it to get it to like respond. And now like it's been 6 weeks and I've been going to therapy, but I can see the progress, and the muscle definition is starting to come back in my leg. And it just made me think about like how those reps add up. So like just keep going, like no matter how far it seems, how far the destination seems, just keep going, take it one frame at a time. Be where your feet are, and enjoy the process, because more likely than not, like you're going to get to where you want to be, but you just have to be consistent. And I feel like that's the biggest thing that I'm trying to like focus on and make sure I'm doing each and every day, is just being as consistent as possible and taking the necessary steps to get to where I want to be. So Marathon Monday, part 2, one frame at a time. Just wanted to talk a little bit about what that means to me, how I help, and explain, and hopefully it can encourage you on your own marathon. And we'll be back. All right. Next week, next Monday, we'll be back. Episode 3. Let's keep going.